Hi everybody, this is Sue, and welcome to another Washing Dishes. I know it's fun and exciting, isn't it? Well, let's see, today is January 21st. It is 3:09 in the afternoon. It is cloudy. According to the weather app on my computer and on my phone both, it's supposed to rain and then turn into snow. So, lovely weather ahead. And so I, I went yesterday, was it yesterday? No, I think it was the day before. Yes, the day before yesterday, I got a new modem from Spectrum. They're putting in new fiber optic cable all over the county. And so I got it. Somebody delivered it to my door, and so I got my grandson to install it last night, and um, so I took the modem back this morning, and I wasn't sure if I was supposed to replace my router too. So I asked her about that, and she said if your router's working, just keep it, because it's a real hassle to change out a router. Not so much a modem, but a router is, she said, very a hassle. So, okay. So I'll just keep my router. And let's see. Well, we had like about 30 hours straight rain earlier this week. It just rained. Sometimes it would rain real hard, and then it would kind of let up a little bit, and it would quit, and but it would be real misty and foggy, and but it never really stopped for about 30 hours. And my grandson called me at midnight. My oldest grandson. I have two grandsons. Storm is 31 and Zach is 22. And so Storm, the oldest one, called me, and he said, we've been cleaning house. Both my grandsons have an apartment together, and then they've got a friend that they live with. And all three of them work at Domino's. And my grandson, I believe I told you in the last Washing Dishes, he was promoted to the general manager at Domino's here in town. And so he called me at midnight, and he said, we've been cleaning house, and we got some stuff that we want to put in the survival box. And he said, can you come and pick it up and put it in the survival box? I said, yeah, I can. And I was thinking in terms of going the next morning and picking it up and taking it over to the survival box. He said, good, can you be here in about an hour? And I said, I guess so. So I went over there. I got there about 1 o'clock in the morning. And Storm started down the steps, and we told him at the hospital that he was taking out the trash. But anyway, he started down the steps of his apartment complex, or his apartment building, and he slipped on the second to the last step and fell. And I could hear him out there in the dark screaming, but there was nothing I could do for him. It's you go down to their apartment, and you go down this steep, kind of a ravine type thing. It goes down to the sidewalk. And I'm not very steady on my feet. And I knew I couldn't help him. Once I got down there, I could go down there and ask him if he was okay, but I wasn't going to be able to help him get up. And so my Zach, my youngest grandson, came running down the steps, and he helped Storm get up and got him back upstairs. And I called him. I said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "It really hurts," but he said, I think it's just, I think I just bruised my tailbone. I think that's all I did." And he said, "I'm going to wait a few hours and see. I might have you take me out to the emergency room, but right now, I think I'm okay." Okay. So Zach came back down the steps, and he brought a bag of stuff for me to take over to the survival box, which I did. And I went home and I went to bed, and 4 o'clock in the morning, Storm called and he said, "Can you take me out to the emergency room?" And so I got up, I got dressed, and went and picked him up. And he's still screaming from pain. He's still screaming. So I took him out to the emergency room, and they took him pretty much right away. They were really, really busy that night. They had patients on and recliners out in the hall, but they gave Storm a room. Down at the end of this hall, there was nobody else down that hall. There's just one room there, and otherwise it's pretty much a storage room. And so they put us down there, which was a good thing because the bathroom door didn't shut. It was out in the hall, but nobody came down that hall because we were the only ones there. I, of course, have to go to the bathroom all the time. So at least the door, even though the door didn't shut, there was nobody there. And so they took him for an MRI, or no, they took him for a CAT scan. Excuse me. They took him for a CAT scan. Then they came back. It seemed to me like 2 or 3 hours, but the nurse said it was only 20 minutes, but it was a long 20 minutes. They came back and they wanted to take another CAT scan. So, CAT scans are not cheap, and Storm's insurance has not started yet. And so, he's on self-pay, and he's going to be paying on that for the next 10 years, possibly longer. And he's still got to pay to tear down that house, that burned out house. And I think the city wants $4,000 for that. So, anyway, so we were sitting there, and Storm said, "Do you know where the call thing is for the nurse?" And I said, "I haven't seen it since we've been in here. I don't know if there's one or not. I haven't seen it." He said, "I've got to have a nicotine patch." Storm's a heavy smoker. And so I went down the hall. I found there's a nurse's station down at the end of the hall, and there were several nurses sitting there. I don't know what they were doing, playing games on computers or something, I don't know. Anyway, there was so I told the first nurse that I saw, I told him, I said, "My grandson wants a nicotine patch." And so a little bit later, while he came down, he said, how much do you smoke? The doctor wants to know how much you smoke. And he said, oh, a pack to a pack and a half a day. And he said, you're going to need a very strong patch. So a little while later, this other nurse came in, and she had a nicotine patch for him. And so he got his nicotine patch. But they would not let him have anything to eat or drink. And he said, I feel like I've ate the Sahara Desert and I'm working on the Mojave. My mouth is so dry. I just feel like, I said, I know what you feel like. I take medicine that dries my mouth out. And I'm constantly having to drink something or whatever, or suck on a cough drop or something, because my mouth is always dry. So, this one nurse, she said, well, you know, there's a refrigerator down at the end of this hall down here, and there's drinks and there's snacks and fruit and stuff like that in there, and you're welcome to get anything you want. I said, really? So I didn't know about that. And so I went down there and I got a fruit cup, and I got one of those little mini cans of Coke, and I just set it down on the by the sink there in that room that Storm was in. Every one of them's got a sink, and I just set it down there. And then once they decided that he could go home and they told him that he could have something to drink, I just popped open that can of Coke and handed it to him. And he didn't drink very much of it, and then he told me he was done with it. I thought, well, for somebody that just finished eating the Sahara and is working on the Mojave, don't you think maybe you want a little more to drink than that? Well, he just wanted to go home. So anyway, that was that, and then of course I got the modem, and Zach changed that out. Now, my car, I guess it leaks antifreeze, I don't know. Anyway, when the heater's not working, when the heater, it is very cold here. When the heater's not working, it usually means that my car's antifreeze is low and it needs to be replaced. Well, the way that car is, I know how to do that. My dad taught me a bunch of stuff before he died. I know how to do that. But that car, the latch that you put your hand back underneath the hood of the car and pull that latch, that's back too far. My hands aren't big enough. I can't reach it. And so I have to get somebody with bigger hands than I've got to reach back in there and pull that latch. Well, Storm's the one that usually does that for me, and he is of course incapacitated right now. There's no way he can pull that latch the way his back hurts. And so I tried to get Zach to do it, and he didn't want to do it. And I told him, because he's asked for that car. You know, we're going to trade that car off, or get a different car, replace that car next year. This is going to be the final year that I drive that car. Thank goodness, that car is awful. And so Zach has asked for that car. Now, we gave Storm a car a couple of years ago. And it's sitting in his garage over there at the burned out house. And he doesn't drive it. It needs some repairs, and he doesn't want to spend the money on the repairs, and so he doesn't drive it. It just sits over there. So I told Zach, I said, if you're going to have this car, you better learn how to do this, and he didn't want to do it. So I called him today, and he said, I'm at work, Grandma, and he said, I haven't slept. He said, I can't do anything for you today. Okay. So I don't know who I'm going to get to open that hood for me. That wouldn't be a problem if Storm hadn't broken a vertebrae in his back. Or did I even tell you that? Yeah, that's what happened. He cracked a vertebrae in his back. They told him to cancel his appointment with his chiropractor. I told him, oh, go ahead and go to the chiropractor. I said, the chiropractor might be able to give you some relief without hurting that even more. I don't know, but it's worth a try. So, anyway, let's see, what else is there? This needs to be washed. Anyway, I guess that's about all there is today that I can think of to talk about. And I'm almost done here. I've got a couple of other things to wash, like the skillet and things like that. And then I'll be done. So I will let you go for now. And thank you very much for watching. And I'll talk to you later. Bye now.